from wherever I am. The fresh coffee that appears on my break table, even though I didn't order it. The way problems disappear before I know they existed. Parking tickets, late fees. The landlord who suddenly stops asking about overdue rent. I don't go anywhere alone anymore. Not because I'm not allowed, because I know he's already there. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before I tell you how this got worse, let me ask you something. Have you ever had someone look at you like you were the only thing that mattered? Not in a good way. In a way that made you feel owned before they ever touched you. If you understand that fear, hit subscribe, because what happens next will show you exactly how obsession becomes possession. 6 months ago, I was just a waitress at Meridian Grill, upscale place in the Westfield shopping complex, where businessmen close deals over $40 steaks, and I smile through their condescension for tips that pay my sister's college textbooks. He started coming in on Tuesdays. Always alone. Always requested my section. Always ordered the same thing, ribeye, medium rare, black coffee. He didn't make small talk, didn't flirt, just watched me with this focused intensity that made my skin crawl. Dark eyes, expensive suits, Korean, maybe mid-30s. The kind of handsome that knows it and doesn't care. The tips were excessive. 50%, sometimes more. My coworker Angela pulled me aside after his third visit. You know who that is, right? No, should I? She lowered her voice. James Kang owns half the commercial properties in this district, maybe more. She glanced toward his table. People say he's connected, like connected. I looked at him. He was cutting his steak with surgical precision, not looking up. Connected to what? Angela just shook her head. Don't ask questions you don't want answered. But he never did anything wrong. Didn't touch me. Didn't make inappropriate comments. Just watched. Like I was something fascinating he was studying. It got to me after week 5. I walked to his table before he could order. Can I ask you something? Of course. His English was perfect, barely accented. Why do you keep coming here? The food is excellent. You don't come for the food. You barely eat it. I kept my voice professional but firm. Why do you always request my section? He set down his fork. Met my eyes directly. Because you don't pretend. Everyone else performs. Smiles they don't mean. Enthusiasm they don't feel. You're just yourself. Tired, real, human. He paused. I find that valuable. Well, it makes me uncomfortable. Then I apologize. He stood, placed $200 bills on the table. I'll sit elsewhere. He left, didn't finish his meal. I thought that was the end. I was so wrong. He stopped coming to the restaurant entirely, but the watching didn't stop. I started seeing him everywhere. Parking garage when I left work. Grocery store on Saturday mornings. Coffee shop where I met Keisha for brunch. Always at a distance. Always carefully not approaching. It should have terrified me. Instead, it felt like waiting. Like something was coming and I couldn't stop it. My manager called me into his office 3 weeks after the conversation. Mr. Kang wanted me to relay a message. He looked uncomfortable. He's requested that staff ensure you're not bothered during your shifts. He's also, he cleared his throat, donated to our employee safety fund, generously. What does that mean? It means he's protective of his interests, Maya. Don't make this complicated. But it was already complicated because I felt him watching even when I couldn't see him. And part of me, the part I didn't want to admit, was starting to watch back. It happened on a Tuesday, my day off. I was at the Westfield Mall, bags from Target in one hand, getting coffee from the food court before heading home. I wasn't thinking about him. Wasn't looking over my shoulder. Just standing in line at Starbucks, scrolling my phone. Normal. Maya? The voice made my stomach drop. I turned. Damon, my ex-boyfriend. The one who cheated with my roommate 2 years ago. The one I'd successfully avoided since the breakup. He looked the same. Same cocky smile. Same fitted cap. Same eyes that used to make me feel special before they made me feel stupid. Wow, it's really you. He stepped closer. You look good. Thanks. I have to go. Wait, come on. Let's catch up. Just coffee. 10 minutes. I'm good, Damon. Really. Take care. I stepped toward the counter. He moved in front of me. Don't be like that. I've been thinking about you. About us. There is no us. There could be. I made mistakes. I know that. But we were good together. Damon, no. I tried to move around him. He grabbed my wrist. Not hard, not violent, but firm, stopping me. Just hear me out. Let go. Maya, come on. You always were stuck up. Thought you were better than everyone. I said, let go. My voice was louder now. People were looking. He didn't. Then a hand appeared on Damon's shoulder. Large, steady, expensive watch catching the fluorescent light. I knew before I looked up. James Kang stood there, expression carved from ice, eyes flat and cold. The lady has asked you to let go. His voice was quiet, conversational, absolutely terrifying. Damon released my wrist, turned to size him up. Made the worst mistake of his life. This your new man? He laughed. Damn, Maya. Guess you got yourself an upgrade. Asian dude with money. What happened next was fast. Security appeared. 4 mall cops I definitely didn't call, surrounding us like they'd been waiting. Kang said something quiet to the head of security. I couldn't hear it, and nodded once. Sir, you need to come with us. The security guard's hand was already on Damon's arm. For what? I didn't do anything. Harassment? Assault? We have cameras. The guard's voice was professional, final. Damon looked at me, at Kang, at the guards. This is crazy. They walked him out. He was still protesting, still confused about how everything escalated so fast. I stood there holding my coffee, hands shaking, surrounded by staring strangers. Kang remained, close but not touching, watching me with that same focused intensity. Are you hurt? He reached for my wrist, the one Damon had grabbed, and examined it gently. His fingers were warm. I had it handled. I know. He released my wrist carefully. But you shouldn't have to. You can't just... You had security waiting. You were watching me. Yes. The admission should have made me angry. Instead, I felt something else. Something I didn't want to name. I apologize for interfering in your life, he said. But I won't apologize for ensuring you're safe. From what? An annoying ex-boyfriend? His eyes met mine. From anyone who makes you uncomfortable. Ever. The intensity in those words made my chest tight. Thank you. I didn't mean to say it, but it came out anyway. He stepped back, creating distance. You're welcome. I should go. He walked away. I watched him disappear into the crowd, my wrist still warm where he touched it. And I knew, absolutely knew, that everything had just changed. That night I couldn't sleep. Kept seeing his hand on Damon's shoulder, the way security appeared like magic, the careful way he checked my wrist. The watching suddenly felt different. Not threatening, protective, and that was so much more dangerous. The flowers arrived at 7 a.m. I was still in my pajamas. Coffee barely started when someone knocked on my apartment door. Delivery guy, massive arrangement. Orchids and peonies and whites and soft pinks, the expensive kind that lasts for weeks. The card was simple. Your wrist, is it bruised? K. I stared at that card for 10 minutes. He knew my address. Had known it, probably, since the first time I served him ribeye and black coffee. The flowers were beautiful, tasteful. The kind of gift that said, I pay attention, not, I'm trying too hard. That should have bothered me more than it did. I checked my wrist. There was a faint mark where Damon had grabbed me. Nothing serious, just a shadow of pressure. I took a picture. Don't know why. Send it to Keisha. She called immediately. Girl, who sent you flowers? The guy from the mall. The one who... The Korean businessman? Maya, no. Tell me you're not... I'm not anything. He just wanted to make sure I was okay. And he knows where you live? That's not romantic, that's stalking. He hasn't done anything wrong, Keisha. Yet. He hasn't done anything wrong yet. Her voice softened. Just be careful. Men like that don't send flowers for no reason. She was right. I knew she was right. But I put the flowers on my kitchen counter anyway. At work that afternoon, my manager pulled me aside. Mr. Kang called this morning. My stomach flipped. About what? Wanted to make sure you had the option to take the day off? After the incident yesterday, he was concerned about your well-being. He called my job to offer me a day off. He's a significant donor to our employee fund, Maya. When he makes requests, we listen. The manager shifted uncomfortably. He also mentioned if you need anything, security escort to your car, different schedule, we should accommodate. I felt dizzy. That's not necessary. Maybe not. But it's handled. He walked away. I stood there feeling the walls close in. That night, I saw Damon's face on the news. Arrested. Outstanding warrants. Unpaid tickets from 3 different counties. Child support he'd been dodging. Everything surfaced at once. The reporter said he'd be in county jail for at least 90 days. I knew it wasn't coincidence. I called the number from the flower card. He answered on the first ring. Your wrist. Is it healing? His voice was warm, concerned. What did you do to Damon? I ensured he won't bother you again. By getting him arrested. By making sure legal authorities were aware of his existing obligations. Nothing illegal, nothing fabricated, just prioritized. He paused. He grabbed you. That's not acceptable. You can't just interfere in my life like this. I didn't interfere in your life, Maya. I removed a problem from it. There's a difference. The use of my name, first time he'd said it, made my breath catch. You're watching me, following me, sending flowers, calling my job. This is... I know what it is. His voice dropped, and I'm trying to stop. I've tried for months, but every time I decide to walk away, something happens. Someone bothers you, threatens you, and I can't. He stopped. I can't let that happen. Why? You don't know me. I know you work doubles to pay your sister's tuition. I know you give your tips to the kitchen staff when they're short. I know you read on your breaks and you take your coffee black with 1 sugar. I know. He caught himself. I know enough. The silence stretched. Stop watching me, I whispered. I'll try. That's not a yes. No, it's not, he exhaled. I'll try, Maya. That's all I can promise. He hung up. I stood in my apartment, surrounded by expensive flowers, and felt the trap tighten. The watching didn't stop. But now I knew he couldn't help himself. And that terrified me more than anything. The notice came on a Friday. Building-wide email. Emergency pipe maintenance. All units on floors 3 to 7 must vacate for 3 days starting Monday. I stared at my laptop. I lived on floor 5. Keisha's place was packed. She had her cousin staying. Hotels near work were expensive. My sister was 3 hours away in her dorm. I was calculating costs when the envelope appeared under my door. Heavy paper. My name written in clean, precise handwriting. Inside was a key card and a note. I own a furnished property 2 blocks from your building. Vacant. Yours for the week if you need it. No strings. No contact required. The address is below. K. I should have thrown it away. Should have found a cheap motel. Should have done anything except what I did. I texted the number. How did you know about the maintenance? His reply came instantly. I own your building? Of course he did. This is too much. It's practical. You need housing. I have empty housing. Simple economics. Nothing with you is simple. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. No, it's not. But the offer stands regardless. I looked at the key card, at my bank account, at the reality of my options. Monday morning, I moved in. The apartment was beautiful. Too beautiful. 10th floor corner unit with floor-to-ceiling windows. Modern furniture that looked unused. Kitchen stocked with basics. And my favorite coffee in the cabinet. The specific brand I bought. The one that wasn't common. He prepared this for me specifically. I unpacked my small bag, feeling like I was walking into a trap made of good intentions. That night, I tried to relax. Failed. Kept looking at the windows, wondering if he was watching from somewhere. The second night, around 11 p.m., I heard the door handle turn. Just once. Testing. My heart stopped. I grabbed my phone. Building security said they'd send someone. 5 minutes passed. The handle turned again. I called his number, hating myself. Someone's trying to get in. My voice shook. I know. My security is already handling it. Stay away from the door. Your security? You said no contact? I said no contact required. I didn't say I'd leave you unprotected in my building. His voice was calm, certain. They're removing the individual now. Drunk resident, wrong floor. I heard voices outside, then silence. He's gone, Kang said. You're safe. Were you watching the cameras? Yes. You said you tried to stop watching? I said I'd try. I failed. No apology, just honesty. I can't turn it off, Maya. I've tried. I should have been furious. Instead, I felt safer. Are you there all night, watching? Pause. Do you want me to be? The question hung between us. I don't know, I admitted. Then I'll stay until you decide. He stayed on the line. Didn't talk. Just there. I fell asleep with the phone on my pillow and his breathing in my ear. Woke up at 6 a.m. The call had lasted 7 hours. There was a text. You talk in your sleep. You dreamed about your mother. I'm sorry for your loss. I sat up, chest tight. How did he know my mother was dead? How much did he know? The final night in his apartment, groceries appeared. Fresh vegetables, andouille sausage, rice, tomatoes, chicken stock. All the ingredients for one specific dish. The note said, your mother's recipe. If I'm wrong, ignore this. If I'm right, I hope it brings comfort. K. Jambalaya. My mother's exact recipe, the one I hadn't made since she died 3 years ago. I called him. How do you know this? My voice cracked. I pay attention. This is beyond paying attention. This is obsession. You can say it. I know what I am. He sounded tired. I've known since the first time you served me. I've been trying to be appropriate. I've failed completely. Why me? Because you looked at me like I was human, not powerful, not dangerous, just a man ordering lunch. He exhaled. I've been chasing that feeling ever since. That's not healthy. No, it's not. Pause. Have dinner with me, Maya. One meal. Let me explain myself in person. Then decide if you want me gone from your life entirely. And if I say yes to dinner, you'll actually leave me alone after? If you want me to, yes. I'll stop the watching, stop the protection, stop existing in your world. His voice dropped. But ask yourself first, do you actually want that? I looked at the ingredients. At this apartment he'd prepared for me. At the 7-hour phone call where he let me sleep safely. Tomorrow, 7 p.m., I'll send a car. And if I don't come, then I'll understand, and you'll never hear from me again. The line went dead. I stared at the jambalaya ingredients, and I knew I was going to say yes. Not because I had to, because part of me wanted to understand this man who watched me like I was oxygen, even knowing it was dangerous, especially knowing it was dangerous. The car arrived at exactly 7 p.m. Not a taxi, not an Uber. A private car with a driver in a suit who opened my door without speaking. I'd changed outfits 5 times, settled on a black dress that said I made an effort but wasn't trying to impress. Both were lies. The restaurant was downtown, the kind of place with no prices on the menu and waiters who remember your name after you say it once. He was already there, standing when I walked in. The entire dining room was empty except for him. You rented the whole restaurant. Not a question. I wanted privacy for honesty. He pulled out my chair himself. Please? I sat. He sat across from me. The table felt like a chessboard. Thank you for coming, he said. You knew I would. I hoped. I didn't know. He poured water into my glass. You could have blocked my number, thrown away the key, stayed at a hotel. You have agency, Maya. You've always had it. Have I? Because it feels like you've been making my choices for months. No. I've been removing obstacles. There's a difference. He leaned back. But you're right to be angry. I've been inappropriate, invasive. I know that. The waiter appeared. We ordered. He remembered. I don't eat shellfish. I'd never told him that. When we were alone again, I asked the question that mattered. Why me? Specifically, you could have anyone. He was quiet for a long time. When he spoke, his voice was different, softer. I've been in this country 15 years, built an empire, made myself feared and respected. Everyone wants something from me. Access, money, protection, power. He met my eyes. You served me lunch and looked annoyed that I wanted extra napkins. You were just doing your job. Tired, real. You saw a customer, not an opportunity. That's it? I was rude and you got obsessed? You were human, and you made me feel human. I've been chasing that feeling ever since. The honesty was more dangerous than manipulation would have been. I have enemies, he continued. People who'd hurt you to hurt me. The watching isn't romance. It's survival. If they know you matter, you become a target. So this dinner is me being selfish, bringing you closer when I should push you away. But I can't. He stopped. I've tried to walk away every day for 6 months. I can't do it. What do you want from me? Permission to be in your life openly, with boundaries you set. I'll stop the watching if you want. Stop the protection, but that means you're vulnerable and His jaw tightened. I'm in hell worrying about you. And if I say no, then I disappear. Completely. But your ex has friends, and they're not happy about what happened to him. Without my protection. So I'm trapped. You're informed. There's a difference. He reached across the table. Didn't touch me, just close. I won't lie to you, Maya. Ever. Yes, there's danger. Yes. I created it by interfering, but I can also protect you from it. The question is whether you trust me too. I looked at his hand, so close to mine. I don't trust you. Smart. But I believe you'll protect me. Also smart. That's not the same as trust. No, but it's a start. He pulled his hand back. Take 3 days. Think about it. I won't contact you, won't watch, won't interfere. Complete freedom to decide. And you'll actually stop watching? For 3 days? Yes. It'll be the hardest thing I've ever done. But yes. The dinner lasted 2 hours. We talked about soul, about his family's expectations, about the business he built and the prices he paid, about my mother, my sister, my dreams I'd shelved. It felt like therapy and confession and first date all twisted together. When he walked me to the car, he stopped. 3 days, Maya. Then decide if you want me in your life or if you want me gone forever. I got in the car. Didn't look back. But I felt his eyes on me the whole drive home. You know what hurts the most? Not what they did, but that I still tried to make them proud after everything. If you've ever given people too many chances, you already understand this pain. Don't just scroll. Subscribe. Join people who've been through it too, because you deserve stories that make you feel seen. What happens in these next 3 days will show you exactly how obsession becomes choice. Day 1, I tried to live normally. Went to work, smiled at customers, pretended everything was fine. But I kept looking for the black Mercedes, the security I didn't ask for, the coffee that appeared without ordering. Nothing. He'd actually stopped, and I hated how much I noticed the absence. Day 2, things started happening. My car got keyed in the work parking lot. deep scratches across the driver's side. Security cameras were conveniently down that day. A man followed me from the grocery store. Not obviously, but 3 turns, 2 stops, same car. I called Keisha. She picked me up. Didn't ask questions until we were at her place. Someone's following you? Maybe. I don't know. Could be paranoid. Or could be real. She grabbed my hands. What's going on, Maya? Really? I told her everything. The restaurant, the watching, the dinner, the 3-day test. She was quiet for a long time. He's a criminal, isn't he? I think so. Yes. And you're considering what? Dating him? Being with him? I don't know what I'm considering. I just know that when he was watching, I felt safe. And now that he stopped, I feel exposed. That's not safety, girl. That's dependency. He created the danger, then offered to protect you from it. She squeezed my hands. Classic abuser pattern. He's not abusive. Not yet. But men like that, they consume you. You think you're choosing, but the choice was gone the moment you accepted those flowers. She was right. I knew she was right. But I went home anyway. Day 3, everything fell apart. I was leaving work late, closing shift, walking to my car in the mostly empty garage. Damon was waiting. Not possible. He was supposed to be in jail for 90 days. Surprised? He smiled. Wrong. Mean. Got out early. Good behavior. Funny how that works. I froze. You need to leave. I need to leave? You got me arrested? You and your rich boyfriend? He stepped closer. You know what happens to people who mess with me? Who embarrass me? Damon. Where is he now? Your protector? Heard he's been leaving you alone. Smart man. Knows when to cut his losses. My phone was in my purse. I reached for it slowly. Damon grabbed my wrist. Same spot as before, harder this time. We're gonna have a conversation about respect. A car appeared, fast, screeching tires. Black Mercedes. The door opened before it fully stopped. James Kang stepped out, and the expression on his face was nothing I'd seen before. Cold, deadly, absolutely controlled rage. Let her go. 3 words, quiet, terrifying. Damon released me, started to speak. Now walk away, and if I ever see you within a mile of her again, what I did before will seem kind. His voice never rose. Didn't need to. Do you understand? Damon looked at me, at him, at the 2 men who'd appeared from the car. He walked away, almost ran. I stood there shaking. Hung turned to me, checked my wrist. His hands were gentle, but I felt them trembling. You said 3 days. No watching. I lied. He pulled me close. I tried for 6 hours. Then I hired someone else to watch. Because I can't. His voice cracked. I can't not know you're safe. I should have been furious. Instead, I collapsed against him and cried. I'm sorry, he whispered into my hair. I'm so sorry. For all of it. For being what I am. For making you need me. For not being able to walk away. He was supposed to be in jail. Someone bailed him out. I'm handling it. How? Do you really want to know? I looked up at him, saw the truth in his eyes. No, I whispered. I don't. He drove me home, walked me to my door, didn't try to come in. The 3 days are up tomorrow, he said. But you don't have to decide tonight. I already decided. My voice was steady. when I saw him grab me, and the first thing I thought was, "Where are you?" Maya. I'm choosing you. The watching, the protection, all of it. I met his eyes. Because Keisha's right. You created the danger. But you're also the only one who can protect me from it. And I'd rather be safe and trapped than free and dead. That's not a choice. That's surrender. Maybe. But it's my surrender. My choice. I touched his face. So stop apologizing and tell me what happens now. He kissed me then, soft, careful, like I was something precious he was afraid to break. When he pulled away, he said, "Now we figure out how to keep you alive. Together. Together." The word felt like a promise and a warning all at once. We started dating, if you can call it that. Dating implies choice, equality. Two people exploring whether they fit. This was something else entirely. He was generous. Flowers every week, dinners at restaurants I couldn't pronounce. A new car when mine was too old to be safe. I didn't ask how he knew my transmission was failing. Didn't want to know. But there were rules. Check in twice a day. Morning text. Evening call. Share my location on my phone. Accept the security that followed me everywhere. Invisible but present. It's reasonable, he said when I questioned it. Given my world. And I told myself he was right. That this was just smart, practical, safe. Keisha stopped calling after week 2. I showed up at her place. She opened the door, looked at me, sighed. You here to tell me you left him? No. Then I don't know what to say to you, Maya. Say you understand. Say you support me even if you don't agree. I can't support you walking into a cage and calling it love. She leaned against the doorframe. You know what he is, right? What he does? He's a businessman. He's Korean mob. Everyone in this neighborhood knows it. Owns half the commercial district. Has people who make problems disappear. She looked at me hard. You think you're different? You think you're special? He's never hurt me. Not yet. But men like that, they consume you, own you, and by the time you realize it, there's no way out. She touched my arm. I love you, but I can't watch this. So when you're ready to leave him, call me. Until then, I need distance. She closed the door. I stood in the hallway alone and felt the first crack in my foundation. But I didn't leave him. That night he picked me up from work, kissed me in the car, asked about my day like he actually cared. And maybe he did. That was the terrifying part. The intimacy happened 3 weeks in. His penthouse. Wine I didn't ask for but tasted expensive. The city lights below us like scattered diamonds. You can say no, he said, reading my hesitation. To anything. Always. Can I? He stopped, looked at me directly. Yes, I want you willing, not obligated. And if I say no to everything, to all of it, then I'll be disappointed. And you'll still be protected. Those aren't connected, Maya. Ever. I believed him. That should have been my warning. The sex was intense, overwhelming. He touched me like I was something precious he'd been waiting for. Attentive, almost reverent. But there was possession in it too. Afterward, lying in his sheets, he traced my shoulder. You're mine now, he said quietly, completely. I should have corrected him. Should have said I belonged to myself. Instead, I asked, and you're mine? I was yours the moment you looked annoyed about extra napkins. He kissed my forehead. I just waited for you to catch up. The certainty should have frightened me. Instead, I felt safe. And that was so much more dangerous. I started noticing changes in myself. Small things. I checked in without being reminded, shared my location automatically, stopped making plans without telling him first. Not because he demanded it, because it felt easier. Because disappointing him felt worse than losing myself. One night, getting ready for dinner, I realized I was wearing the dress he'd bought, the perfume he preferred, the hairstyle he'd mentioned liking. I stared at my reflection. Didn't recognize the woman looking back. You ready? He appeared behind me, hands on my waist. Yeah, do you think I've changed? Since we met? Since we started this? He was quiet. Then, you're more careful now, more aware, but you're still you. Am I? He turned me to face him. Are you having regrets? Yes, I thought, and no, and I don't know anymore. I just miss my friend, I said instead. She'll come around. What if she doesn't? Then you'll make new friends. In my world, people who understand our life, our world. When had it become ours? But I didn't argue. Just put on the smile he liked and went to dinner. And tried not to think about the woman I used to be. The one who made her own choices. The one who existed before him. 3 months in, I saw it. The violence. The reality. Everything I'd been protected from. We were at dinner. Nice place. His usual table in the back. I was laughing at something he said when a man approached. Korean, older, angry. He said something harsh, fast. James's expression went cold. They argued in Korean, voices rising. The man gestured at me. James stood slowly, said something quiet. The man spat at his feet. What happened next was fast. James grabbed his collar, slammed him against the wall, said something in Korean that made the man's face go white. Then he released him, smooth, controlled, like nothing happened. The man left quickly. James sat back down, straightened his cuffs. I apologize. That was inappropriate. I couldn't speak. Maya, what did he say about me? It doesn't matter. What did he say? James's jaw tightened. He called you a distraction, said I was weak for choosing a black woman, implied you were... He stopped. It doesn't matter. He won't say it again. What did you tell him? That if he ever speaks about you again, I'll remove his ability to speak permanently. He said it calmly, like commenting on weather. He understood. I should have been horrified. Instead, I felt something else, something dark and satisfied. You threatened to kill him over words. I threatened to silence him. The method is negotiable. James, I told you what I am, what I do. He reached across the table. People in my world don't respond to polite requests. They respond to consequences. That night, I couldn't sleep. Kept seeing his face. Cold, controlled, capable. 2 days later, I heard the man had left the city. Permanently. I didn't ask what that meant. A week after that, everything shattered. James came home late, tension in every line of his body. Blood on his shirt cuff. Not his blood. What happened? I whispered. Business. Don't ask. Whose blood is that? Maya. Please. Don't ask questions you don't want answered. I want answered. He looked at me for a long time. Then, someone threatened you? Someone in a rival organization made very specific threats about what they'd do to hurt me through you. My stomach dropped. And they won't make threats again. Did you kill them? Silence. James, did you kill someone because they threatened me? I removed a threat. How I did it doesn't matter. It matters to me. Why? His voice was sharp now. You want details? Want to know how I made sure they understood you're protected? How I made an example so no one else tries? I want to know if you murdered someone. Yes, no hesitation, no apology. I did. He threatened to rape and kill you, to send me pieces. That's not survivable in my world. I felt dizzy, sick. You killed someone. To protect you, yes. And I'd do it again. He stepped closer. I told you what I was. I never lied, never pretended to be anything else. Knowing and seeing are different. Then see clearly. He held out his hands. This is who I am. This is what I do. I hurt people who threaten what's mine. I eliminate problems. I don't apologize. I can't. Then leave. His voice cracked. Leave, Maya. Go back to your old life. I won't stop you. But we both knew that was a lie. I knew too much, was too connected. Leaving meant being vulnerable. Or dead. I looked at this man, this murderer, this obsessed protector. And I stayed standing there. Didn't move toward the door. He saw it. Understood. I'm sorry. He whispered. I'm sorry you chose me. I'm sorry I can't be better. Would you stop if I asked? Stop protecting you? No, stop killing for you? He shook his head. I don't know. Probably not. The honesty was worse than a lie. That night I slept in his bed, curled against a man with blood under his fingernails, and hated myself for feeling safe. The woman appeared at the restaurant on a Thursday. I was serving lunch when she walked in, elegant, Korean, expensive suit that made everyone else look cheap. She requested my section. Something about her made my skin crawl. She ordered in perfect English. American accent. Studied me while I wrote down her order. You're Maya. Not a question. Yes. Have we met? No, but I know who you are. She smiled, cold. I know what you mean to him. My stomach dropped. I'm sorry, I don't... Sit, just for a moment. She gestured to the empty chair. Your manager won't mind. I looked toward the bar. My manager nodded, like he'd been expecting this. How did she... I sat. My name is Mencio. I run operations that compete with James's. She sipped her wine. We have a mutual problem. I don't have problems with you. You do. You just don't know it yet. She leaned forward. He's obsessed with you now. It's obvious. Sweet gestures, constant protection, making you feel special. She paused. But obsession fades. And when it does, you become a liability. Why are you telling me this? Because I was where you are, 5 years ago. Different woman, same story. Her smile was sad. He protected me, killed for me, made me feel like the center of his world, until I wasn't. What happened? I started asking questions, wanting more say in business, wanting partnership, not possession. She traced her wine glass. He saw it as betrayal, as trying to control him. Did he hurt you? Not physically, but he made it clear. I was protected as long as I stayed in my place. The moment I wanted equality, I became a problem. She slid an envelope across the table. Inside is money, enough to disappear. Start over. New city, new name, and a number to call if you want information about who he really is, what he's really done. I didn't touch it. I know what he is. You know what he's shown you, the controlled version, the romantic protector. Her eyes were hard. You haven't seen him when loyalty requires blood, when love requires sacrifice. You're not willing to make. Why help me? Because no one warned me, and I want someone to make it out before. She stopped. Just take it. You don't have to use it, but when you need it, you'll be glad you have it. She stood, left cash for a meal she barely touched. I stared at the envelope for 30 seconds, then shoved it in my apron. Told James everything that night. Every word, showed him the envelope unopened. His reaction was immediate. Rage. Controlled but absolute. He made calls in rapid Korean. Paced. His whole body tight with fury. She approached you directly, in public. Not a question. A statement. Where my people should have seen. Your people can't be everywhere. They should have been there. He stopped pacing. This is a declaration. She's telling me she can reach you whenever she wants. So what does that mean? He looked at me, something dangerous in his expression. It means she's testing boundaries. Seeing if you're worth the war it would take to keep you. And am I? The question came out smaller than I meant. He crossed to me, cut my face. I would destroy her entire operation before I let her take you from me. That's not an answer. Yes, he said quietly. It is. That night, security doubled. New faces in the lobby. Cars I didn't recognize following me. The walls closed tighter. Mencion's words echoed. Obsession fades. When it does, you become a liability. I looked at myself in the bathroom mirror. Really looked. Asked the question I'd been avoiding. What happens when he stops being obsessed? When I'm not new anymore. Not exciting. Just there. Do I become the problem he solves? When I finally stood my ground, they called me heartless. But tell me, where were they when I was breaking? If you've ever had to choose peace over people, this channel is your space. Subscribe, not for me, but for every quiet soul who took their power back, because what happens next will show you exactly what it costs when obsession turns to ownership. My sister called on a Tuesday morning, crying, scared, wrong. Maya, there are men here. They won't let me leave. The line went dead. I called back, no answer. Called again, straight to voicemail. I was dialing James when my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Maya, Mencion's voice. Don't panic. Your sister is safe. For now. Everything went cold. What did you do? I gave you a choice. You chose to stay with him, so now you understand the consequences. Her voice was calm, professional. Leave James. Publicly, today. Or your sister pays the price for your loyalty. You can't. I can, and I will. He's made you a target by loving you. Now your family is collateral. That's how this works. Please? You have 6 hours. There's a press conference happening downtown. Cameras, reporters. Tell them you're leaving him, that he's dangerous, abusive, whatever story makes you leave. She paused. Do that, and your sister comes home. Stay with him, and she doesn't. The line went dead. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. James walked in, took one look at my face. What happened? I told him. Everything. The call, the threat, my sister. His expression went blank, empty, the most dangerous I'd ever seen him. He made one call, Korean, sharp, fast. Then to me, I'll get her back. How? By doing what I do. Violence, strategy, fear. He was already moving, grabbing keys, gun, phone. Pack a bag. You're coming with me. To what? To get your sister. To end this. To show Mincio what happens when you take what's mine. I should go to the police. And tell them what? That you're involved with me? That puts you as complicit. They can't help. I can. By killing people? If necessary. Yes. He stopped, looked at me. Your sister has 6 hours, maybe less. We don't have time for moral debates. He was right. I hated it, but he was right. If I come, I follow your lead. No questions, no hesitation. Agreed. The car ride was tense, silent. He made calls, gave orders, assembled his people. We arrived at a warehouse on the industrial edge. His men were already there. She's inside. 3 guards. Mincio herself. He checked his gun. This will be violent. You understand that? I understand. You can wait in the car. No, she took my sister because of me. I need to be there. He studied my face. Then stay behind me. Don't speak. Don't move unless I tell you. What happened next was calculated. Brutal. Efficient. His men moved like machines. Doors breached. Guns drawn. Shouting in Korean and English. I saw my sister tied to a chair, crying, unharmed but terrified. Saw Mincio standing there, calm, like she expected this. James, she smiled. Right on time. Let her go. Or what? You'll kill me? In front of your girlfriend? Let her see exactly what you are? She already knows what I am. He raised his gun. Last chance. You won't. Not in front of... He shot her. Not fatal. Shoulder. She dropped to her knees. I said last chance. Not only chance. His voice was cold. Dead. Release the girl. Now. Her men complied immediately. My sister ran to me. I held her, shaking. James walked to Mincio, crouched down, said something quiet in Korean. She looked at me, then at him, nodded once. He stood. We're leaving. In the car, my sister stared at me. What are you involved in? I couldn't answer. James drove us to a safe house, set up protection, made sure she was okay. When we were alone, he turned to me. I shot someone in front of you, in front of your sister. You saved her. By being a monster. By being what you are. I touched his face. I knew. I've known. Today just made it impossible to pretend otherwise. Can you live with this? I thought about my sister's face, the gun, the blood, the cold efficiency. Can I live without you protecting us? No. I met his eyes. So yes, I can live with this. He pulled me close. I'm sorry for all of it. Stop apologizing. You told me what you were. I chose to stay. That night, lying in his arms, I understood. I wasn't a victim. I was complicit. And somehow that was worse. My sister didn't speak to me for 3 days. James set her up in a secure apartment. Guards, new phone, new routine, everything she needed except answers. On day 4, she finally called. I need to understand. Her voice was small, scared. What are you involved in, Maya? I met her at the apartment. Just us. James's security outside, but giving us space. He's not a regular businessman, I started. I figured that out when he shot someone. She wasn't crying, just numb. Who is he? What does he do? He runs an organization, imports, exports, some legal, some not. I couldn't look at her. He protects people the system fails, but he also hurts people who threaten what's his. And you're his? Yes. By choice? I thought about the flowers, the watching, the trap that closed so slowly I didn't notice until it was complete. I don't know anymore. Maybe at first it wasn't. But now, yes, by choice. She was quiet for a long time. They had guns to my head, Maya. They said they'd kill me to hurt you, because you matter to him. I know. And you're staying with him, knowing this could happen again? He'll protect you now, better than before. Your family. That makes you untouchable. Until I'm not. Until I say the wrong thing or want to leave or... She stopped. This isn't love. This is ownership. Maybe, but it's also safety. And in his world, those are the same thing. What happened to you? She looked at me like I was a stranger. The sister I knew wouldn't accept this, wouldn't justify it. The sister you knew didn't understand how dangerous the world is, didn't know what it takes to survive in it. I touched her hand. I'm still me, just different. No, she pulled away. You're who he made you, and that's worse. She asked me to leave. I did. Outside, James was waiting in the car. How did it go? She hates me, or hates what I've become. I'm not sure there's a difference anymore. He pulled me close. She'll understand eventually, when she's had time. Will she? Or will she just learn to be afraid like everyone else? He didn't answer, because we both knew. That night, I couldn't sleep. Kept seeing my sister's face. The disappointment, the fear, the realization that I'd chosen this. James found me at 3 a.m. staring out the window. Second thoughts? 100 thoughts. I didn't turn around. Do you ever regret it? What you do? Who you are? Every day. The honesty surprised me. Then why not stop? Because stopping means weakness. Weakness means death. Not just mine. Everyone connected to me. He stood behind me. I didn't choose this life because I wanted it. I chose it because it was the only way to survive, to protect people I love. And now I'm one of those people. Now you're the only person. He turned me to face him. Everyone else's obligation, loyalty, strategy. You're the only one who makes me want to be different, better. But you can't be. No, I can't. His voice cracked. And I hate that I made you need me, that I pulled you into darkness and called it protection. He stopped. I'm sorry, Maya, for all of it. Stop apologizing. I can't. Because every day you stay is another day I'm destroying something good. Maybe I was never that good. I touched his face. Maybe I just pretended to be. We stood there in the dark, two people who'd found each other in the worst possible way. And neither of us knew how to let go. The next morning, Mencio was found dead. Not by James, by her own people. Punishment for the failed kidnapping, for the exposure. His world had its own justice. And I understood. This was the price of staying. Not just accepting his violence, living in a world where everyone was expendable, including, eventually, me. I tried to leave once more. 2 weeks after my sister's rescue, after Mencio's death, after everything became impossible to ignore. I packed a bag while James was out, called Keisha. She didn't answer. Called my sister. She picked up. I'm leaving him, I said. Today, now. I need somewhere to stay. Silence. Then, you can't. What? You can't leave him, Maya. They told me. His people. If you try to leave, if you run. Her voice broke. You know too much. You've seen too much. They said you're safer with him than without him. My blood went cold. Who told you that? His second. The one who brought me food. He was nice about it. Said it wasn't a threat. Just reality. She was crying now. You're trapped. We're both trapped. Because of your choices. I hung up. Stared at the packed bag. Understood. I thought I could walk away. That my choice to stay was still a choice. But choices made under threat aren't choices. They're survival. James came home an hour later. Saw the bag. You were leaving. Not a question. I was thinking about it. And your people made it clear that's not an option. His jaw tightened. I didn't order that. But you're not surprised? No. He sat down heavily. My second is practical. He knows you're the only leverage anyone has over me. He knows if you leave, you become a target or a witness. So I'm a prisoner. You're protected. By being imprisoned, there's no difference, James. There is. His voice rose. Prison is against your will. This is what? With my consent? I don't consent to being told I can't leave. Then leave. He stood. Right now. Walk out. I won't stop you. But your people will. No, they won't. I'll make sure of it. He pulled out his phone, made a call in Korean. Sharp, final. Done. You're free to go. No one will stop you. No one will follow you. I stared at him. But know this. Once you walk out that door, I can't protect you. Mencio is dead, but her organization isn't. They know your face, your name, your sister. His voice was steady, but his hands shook. So yes, you can leave. But you'll be doing it alone, vulnerable. And I'll be here knowing every second that you're in danger, because I couldn't keep you safe. The trap was perfect. Stay and be imprisoned. Leave and be hunted. You planned this. My voice was cold. From the beginning. The watching, the protection, the danger. You created all of it so I'd need you. No, I loved you and that created the danger. There's a difference. Is there? He looked at me with something like despair. I don't know anymore. I sat down, unpacked the bag slowly. He watched in silence. I'm not staying because I want to, I said finally. I'm staying because leaving means death. Mine. Maybe my sister's. Maybe Keisha's, if they think she knows anything. I know. So stop calling it protection. Stop calling it love. Call it what it is. What is it? A cage made of obsession and justified with violence. I looked at him. And I'm choosing to survive in it. But don't pretend it's anything else. He nodded, said nothing. That night we slept in the same bed. Didn't touch. Just two people bound together by circumstances neither could escape. I thought about the waitress I used to be. The one who served lunch and complained about tips. The one who believed in right and wrong. She was gone. Killed by a man who loved her. And I didn't even know when it happened. I stopped pretending 6 months in. Stopped pretending this was temporary. Stopped pretending I was the same person. Stopped pretending I had a choice. The apartment I used to live in sat empty. Lease in my name. Furniture gathering dust. I paid rent on a place I'd never go back to. Because going back meant admitting I'd lost something I couldn't get back. My life now revolved around his schedule, his world, his rules that didn't feel like rules anymore because I'd internalized them. Check-in texts became automatic. Location sharing became normal. Security following me became comfort. I didn't fight it anymore. My sister moved back to her dorm after 2 weeks in protective custody. She looked at me differently now, carefully, like I was fragile or dangerous or both. "You're really staying with him," she said the day she left. "Yes. After everything you saw, everything he did, he saved you. By shooting someone, Maya, in front of us. Like it was nothing." She grabbed my hands. "That's not normal. None of this is normal." "I know." "Then why?" "Because normal got you kidnapped. Normal couldn't protect you. He could." I squeezed her hands. "I can't go back to being the woman who couldn't keep you safe." She pulled away. "That's not your responsibility." "It is now." She left with tears in her eyes, and my number blocked by the end of the week. I understood. She was protecting herself from watching me disappear into him. Too late. I was already gone. James noticed the change. How I stopped questioning, stopped resisting. "You're different," he said one night, pouring wine in his penthouse. "How?" "Quieter. More settled." He studied me. "Are you happy?" The question surprised me. "Does it matter?" "Yes. It matters more than anything." I thought about happiness, about who I used to be, about the woman who served lunch and worried about tips and then called Keisha for brunch. "I'm not happy," I said honestly. "But I'm not unhappy either. I'm just here, present, alive. That's not enough. It's what we have." I met his eyes. "You asked if I could live with what you are. I can, but that doesn't mean I love it. It means I've accepted it." He was quiet for a long time. "I never wanted to break you." "You didn't break me. You just showed me who I could be when survival mattered more than principles." I moved closer. "That's not your fault. That's just reality." He pulled me into his lap, held me like something precious he was afraid to lose. "Tell me if it becomes too much. If you need out." "There is no out. You know that." "There could be. I could arrange." "Stop." I touched his face. "We're past that. Past pretending there are exits. I chose this. I choose it every day. Stop giving me outs I won't take." "Why won't you?" "Because leaving you means being vulnerable. And I can't." My voice cracked. "I can't go back to being that afraid." He kissed me then, desperate, grateful, guilty. We made love that night like people drowning, holding each other too tight, needing too much. Afterward, lying in the dark, he whispered, "I love you." First time he'd said it. I didn't say it back. because love required choosing, and I didn't know if I'd chosen him or just survival. Maybe they were the same thing now. The next morning, Mencio's people made their move. Not against me, against his business. Warehouses hit, shipments stolen, people hurt. I was there when he got the calls, watched his face go cold and flat. She's escalating, trying to make me choose between you and business. What will you choose? He looked at me like the answer was obvious. Both. I'll protect both. You can't. Watch me. He left with 6 men, guns, determination. Came back 8 hours later, blood on his clothes that wasn't his, eyes empty. I didn't ask what happened, didn't need to. The news reported it 2 days later. Warehouse fire, 3 dead, Mencio's operation crippled. James watched the news with me, didn't comment. I reached for his hand. He held it tight. And I realized something terrifying. I wasn't horrified anymore. I was relieved. 8 months in, we found our rhythm. Not happiness, not peace, just function. I learned his world, met his associates, understood the hierarchy, earned respect by being competent, not just his woman. They tested me at first. Questions in Korean I wasn't supposed to understand. References to business I shouldn't know. Watching to see if I'd panic or run. I didn't. Learned basic Korean. Enough to understand when they were talking about me. Enough to respond occasionally and watch their surprise. Learned the business. Import operations. The legitimate side and the gray areas. Where money came from. Where it went. Learned to read a room for threats. To notice who didn't belong. To stay calm when danger walked in. James taught me. Patiently. Thoroughly. You're good at this, he said, after I correctly identified an undercover cop at a restaurant. At what? Surviving, adapting, becoming what you need to be. Is that a compliment? It's an observation, and yes. Some nights I miss the old Maya, the waitress, the friend, the sister who wasn't blocked by her own family. But that woman couldn't exist in this world. So I let her go. Keisha reached out once. Text message. Simple. If you need help leaving, I'm here. I stared at it for an hour. Typed responses. Deleted them. Finally, I'm okay. But thank you. Her reply came immediately. No, you're not, but I love you anyway. I cried for the first time in months. The final confrontation with Mencio happened on a Thursday. James got the call. Location, time, invitation to negotiate. It's a trap, I said. Obviously. Then why go? Because not going means this never ends. She keeps attacking, keeps threatening, keeps trying to take what's mine. He looked at me. I'm ending this permanently. Let me come. Absolutely not. She started this because of me. I should be there. If something goes wrong, then we go wrong together. I held his gaze. I'm not staying behind wondering if you're coming back. Not anymore. He studied me, seeing the change, the woman I'd become. All right, but you follow my lead, everything I say, no exceptions. Agreed. The meeting was in a neutral space, abandoned hotel on the waterfront. Her people, his people, guns everywhere. She was already there when we arrived, saw me step out beside him, smiled. You brought her. How sentimental. I brought my partner. James didn't look at me, kept his eyes on her. There's a difference. Partner. She laughed. She's changed you, made you soft, predictable. Test that theory if you want. Mencio's smile tightened. The proposal is simple. Eastern territory for me, Western territory for you. Neutral ground stays neutral. We stop bleeding resources fighting. And in return, peace, real peace. No more targets on civilians. Her eyes flicked to me. No more using innocent people as leverage. James was quiet, calculating. I need 2 days to consult. You have 48 hours, then the offer expires. They shook hands. Professional, cold. We left. In the car, silence for miles. You called me your partner, I said. You are. That's different. Yes. He took my hand. You stopped being someone I protect. You became someone who stands beside me. Even though that makes me a target. Even though. He kissed my knuckles. You showed her you're not fragile. That you chose this knowing everything. That removes her best leverage. And if she comes after me anyway, then we handle it together. Together. That word meant more than love. That night, in his penthouse, city lights below us, I thought about the woman at the mall who just wanted coffee, who ran into her ex, who got saved by a stranger obsessed with her. She was gone completely. Someone else existed now, someone harder, more aware, less innocent but more powerful. Was it worth it? I didn't know. But I was still here, still breathing, still choosing him every morning. Any regrets? He asked, pulling me close. I thought about Keisha, my sister, the woman I used to be. Ask me in a year, I said. He smiled against my hair. Fair enough. I closed my eyes, and for the first time in months, I slept through the night without nightmares. Not because I was happy, because I'd finally stopped fighting what I'd become. 1 year later, I went back to the mall. Same food court, same Starbucks, same spot where Damon grabbed my wrist and everything changed. I wasn't alone. Never was anymore. Security 3 steps behind, blending into the crowd. My phone tracking my location. James knowing exactly where I was. But I needed to see it. The place where it started. I ordered coffee, black with 1 sugar, stood in the same line. And I saw her. Young woman, maybe 23, getting harassed by a guy who wouldn't take no for an answer. He had her wrist. She was pulling away, trying to be polite while clearly afraid. Everyone walked past, looked away, mind their business. I remember being her. Remember thinking if I was just nice enough, calm enough, he'd leave me alone. I moved before thinking. Hey girl, sorry I'm late. I linked my arm through hers, smiled at the guy. We need to go, now. The woman looked confused but played along. Yeah, let's go. The guy stepped back, hands up. I was just talking to her. You were holding her wrist after she asked you to stop. My voice was calm, cold, the voice I'd learned from James. That's assault. Security is already on their way. I hadn't called security, but he didn't know that. He left quickly, muttering. I walked the woman to a bench. You okay? Yeah, thank you. I didn't know how to. She looked at my security standing nearby. Are you someone important? No, just someone who's been where you are. I pulled out a card. Plain, simple, just a phone number. If he comes back, if anyone bothers you, call this. They'll handle it. Who are they? People who keep women safe. Not entirely true, but close enough. No questions asked. She took the card. Thank you. I watched her leave, safe, free, still herself, everything I'd given up. That night, I told James what happened. He smiled. You're recruiting now? No, just passing it forward. What forward? Someone once helped me when I needed it. Changed my whole life. I looked at him. For better or worse? Which is it? The question I'd been avoiding for a year. I thought about the woman I was. Waitress, friend, sister, innocent, struggling but free. I thought about who I'd become. Protected, powerful, isolated, aware. Both, I said finally. Always both. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. I moved closer. You asked me a year ago about regrets. I said ask me later. So here we are. Do you regret it? Me? All of this? I looked around his penthouse, at the life I'd built in his world, at the safety that came with the price I was still paying. I regret that it was necessary, that I had to choose between being safe and being myself. I touched his face. But I don't regret surviving. And you're why I survived. That's not the same as love. No, but it's what we have. I kissed him. And maybe that's enough. He held me close. Is it enough? Ask me in another year. He laughed. Sad, but real. Fair enough. Later that night, I stood at the window. City lights below. Security in the lobby, James asleep behind me. I thought about the woman at the mall, the one I'd helped, the one who still had choices. And I thought about the woman who'd grabbed her ex's wrist a year ago, who'd gotten saved by a stranger, who'd walked willingly into a cage because it felt safer than freedom. I didn't know if I'd made the right choice, but I'd made it with my eyes open. And I was still here, still breathing, still standing. Some days that felt like losing. Other days it felt like winning. Most days it just felt like surviving. And maybe that's all any of us can do. Survive, adapt, become what we need to be, even if we don't recognize ourselves anymore. I touched the window, left a handprint on the glass. Proof I was here. Real, alive, whatever that meant now. Sometimes revenge isn't about payback. It's about peace. And if this story touched you, subscribe right now. Because somewhere out there, another person is watching in silence, needing a reminder that they're not alone, and your one click might help them find it. This is just one story. There are more. Women who chose survival over comfort, power over innocence, themselves over who they used to be. Subscribe. Because you deserve stories that make you feel seen. Stories that don't pretend choosing is easy. Stories that show you the truth, that sometimes love and survival look exactly the same. And you need to hear that. We all do.